Okay, so here, all right? Welcome to the 10th annual San Jose Poetry Festival. We're doing it, all right? It's happening, all right? And now here's the thing, right, is that I grew up thinking poetry was the most boring thing I could ever possibly spend time with. And I was right. So good night, everybody. Psych. No, but in all seriousness, thanks to my dear friend Gia Trenchard, down the street on South First Street, right next to what was South First Billiards. Actually, I don't even know if it was South First Billiards at the time, but the address next to it was Cafe Babylon. You remember that spot, Steve? Remember Cafe Babylon? Cafe Kismet? Yeah. And I went and I was dragged down there and did stand-up comedy for the first time in September of 1998. And that night I was introduced to performance poetry. Poetry in a way that I could never have imagined that poetry could be like that. And I have been reiterating this as much as I can for the last several years. The idea that poetry can be exciting, that poetry can be electric, it can be alive, it can motivate you to do something you never thought you would do. And I ended up continuing to go to that open mic over and over and over again. And then that parlayed into poetry slams, and that parlayed into working at Walgreens. I don't know if that worked out, but and now, you know, here I am 26 years later, almost exactly to the day that I first set foot into an open mic. Running the San Jose Poetry Festival. It's my 4th year as the festival director. And as I've said this on social media, I've said this on our website, I've said this countless times, I have intentionally put together a festival this year that celebrates the spoken word. And nearly every single person that I've booked this year is someone I look up to as a spoken word artist, all right? And we're really starting tonight, right? That starts tonight with Jason Bayani, Lorenz Dumuk, DeWolf, and Wonder Dave.
Yeah!
Legends of spoken word, legends of poetry, legends of comedy, legends of humor, legends of just being awesome, you know? Legends of being legends, yeah. We all work together at Walgreens. No, just kidding. Lorenz is from San Jose. Yes. Weirdly enough, I've known Lorenz the least in terms of time, but the most in terms of cuddling. That's the weird thing. I would think Jamie would be one. But no. But truly, Lorenz and I we were coming back actually from Jason Bayani's show in San Francisco at Biddle Studios. 7 years ago? Something like that? It was a while ago. And we were coming back, and I said, hey, Lorenz, where were you born? He goes, actually, I was born in San Francisco. I was like, oh, okay. When did you come to San Jose? He said, we moved down south to San Jose when my mom got a job at National Semiconductor. And I said, wait, my mom worked at National Semiconductor. He goes, no way. I go, did your mom sell lumpia to a very white, freckled, red-headed woman? He goes, I will find out. And he asked his mom, and she said, I do remember selling lumpia to a very freckled white lady with green eyes. I said, that was my mom. For sure. So in 1988, I ate Lorenz's mom's lumpia, and then met him 22 years later, right? Or 18, I don't know, math, I don't math at all, so, you know, who knows, but you can figure it out. 1988 to 2015. Come back and report fully on that math for me, thank you. But anyhow, so I don't want to waste any more of your time. I want you guys to really experience something extraordinary tonight. And so if you didn't get a program, sucks to be you. No, we can get you one. We can get you a program. I don't ever want anyone to leave feeling like they didn't get to think, they didn't get to laugh, they didn't get to feel something at one of my events. I don't ever want people to leave feeling as though they didn't get something out of it. And so tonight, if you don't get something out of it, let me know. We also do have a survey. There's a little QR code on that little sign over there. I will move it, since that's the exit, I'll move that sign to the table that's in that other room. Anybody who needs the restroom, just know that as soon as you go through that doorway, it's directly to your right. As soon as you go through that doorway, there's a door, the door opens outward, and so the restroom is there. I recommend, if you can, wait until I am speaking to go use the restroom, right? Just you know, out of perspective of the poets, you know, they don't want you to miss a thing. I really don't. And feel free to sort of explore the space in here. This is the First Unitarian Church of San Jose. It's a very old building. As you can tell, they're doing some renovations, much needed renovations in front of the building. So thank you for, pardon our dust. They have been so kind to let us use this space for a very good price for the last 3 years. And I want to keep that tradition going because it's, what a neat space to be able to speak in, you know. And so I hope the poets tonight will really utilize the space, utilize the fact that you barely need a microphone in order to use this space, but it is here. Without any further ado, I'm not going to read any bios tonight because they're in the programs, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that I love every one of these men coming up tonight. They are so special to me. They are my friends. And it is with great pleasure that I get to not only ask them to come and perform for you tonight, but that I also get to tell them that I love them and we get to pay them some money for being here, which is awesome. And that's the whole point of Poetry Center San Jose. So if you are a member, thank you so much for being a member of PCSJ. It means the world to us. It makes it so that we can do these things, so that we can put on festivals, so we can put on monthly events. If you are not a member, bro, come on. It's $30, you know? It's nothing. I mean, it's not nothing. It's like, a meal and a half at McDonald's. So, but you get so much more. We're going to feed you tonight. That is our goal. So, without any further ado, please welcome up my brother from another mother. Give it up for Lorenz.
That's how much he loves you.
Anyway, this is the mixtape portion of the show. Well, let's have fun. Leave it, leave it, leave it, Palestina. Leave it, leave it, leave it, Palestina. Hold me. Between the river and the sea, hold me. Remember these names with me, even if it feels infinite. Let us recite these names. Do not clump them all together into one number. Hold me. Carry these watermelons with me until justice allows them to finally be sweet enough to share peacefully with one another. Hold me. Hold all these people I do not know personally, yet I tie my heart to them. Their liberation is rooted with mine. Their fight is our fight for freedom, a hope that holds us all. I will be there when you feel like being quiet, when you need to speak your mind. I will listen, and I will be here when the laughter turns to crying through the wind. I have grown to call part of you ancestors lately. Feelings of uncertainty mixed with how all ancestors are rushing to hold me and assure me there is only so much space for my lack of capacity, which I am still learning to grow. Like a cramped up house party, you are all arrived anyway. Its warmth is a bit overwhelming, but so welcome. I tell you all not to be too harsh on my fears and worries. They were all I had when I didn't know how to access you all ancestors. They know not to linger and accept their roles, and they accept their roles as messengers as opposed to oppressors to my mind and body ancestors. Thanks for reminding me to laugh, to drink water, to just be present at times such as these. I know there are more names than I know, and I appreciate you visit even when I do not acknowledge your presence. Some whom I only met in womb, making sure I entered this world to the request of prayers. I thank you and love you even without name or shared memory. Those whose names I recite, I miss you. But glad you made your way into my life in this form. Remind myself it's an honor to carry you, not a burden. Thank you for bringing all the life who love me, all the living who love me, making sure they find their way into my mind and spirit. Thank you for watching over them continuously through the request of my prayers and songs. When I sweat profusely while performing tonight, I know this is why you all remind me to drink water, but also that you are all with me, enjoying me reading. Love you. Even if I feel kind of a wreck, I feel the walls sweeping over me, cleaning what I do not need to hold on to. I feel hammers and other tools helping repair and build me. I feel kisses on my forehead. I am loved dearly. Many rivers to cross, and it's my only will that keeps me alive. I've been licked, washed up for years, and I merely survived because of my pride. To the young boy whose lips raced across words exiting his mouth from excitement, was an avalanche of sentences clumped in an articulated mess crashing into a listening ear. We grew into a man whose mouth learned to hatch incubated thoughts. Our stories still told with excitement, yet we learned to migrate these birds out of our throat without letting them fly furiously into one another. To the young boy, silent, it only responds in gestures. I am still practicing ways to heal you. Many times I dare be brave for you. Sometimes the world gets too much, and I become you again. You are one of the reasons we turn into poet. We learn we do not have to only feel helpless in the silence. We got better. To the young boy who did not think we had anything to say, we learned that shit was a lie. We still speak gibberish time to time, mostly though we speak with this great value more than we imagine. We have the capabilities to articulate. We learn our words do not always have to be spoken from our minds. We talk from this heart of ours. Go figure. We have a good one. This heart always had something important to say. I am still learning to let it speak. I love him so much it just turns to hate. I fake it so real I'm beyond fake. And someday you will ache like I I ought to be Adam. He does not though. When you are all pieces from once wholes, at least a name would help bind the collection that is you. Instead, you feel stitches from a God who only wanted the creation of you, but not the being of you. When he calls you fiend, he can only see his reflection in you. Forgets you did not consent to this living, yet interjects his will that you shall be a reality. When he labels you scepter, how haunted a spirit he is. You are merely a house of a body that echoes all the ghosts he carries. His delusion that the birth of you would bring peace to his madness is but an unjust logic to his own ego. When he sees you as wretch, only he would know so well, breaking patterns of life cycle, because the cycle of his current life brings no joy. How villainous of him to expect you to be more when you are merely a sum of all he hates about himself. When you submit to the world's perspective of being this hideous monster, were they surprised how truly terrified they became of you? Did this isolation they push on you make you want to make them feel your hurt? Breathless, you made others lifeless. They truly made you feel. Just don't know. I gotta take it slow. When I find my peace of mind, I'm gonna give you some of my good time. Manatees use sparks to help them navigate themselves to the different depths of water. Beautiful, buoyant balloon, balancing natural gases within to access the many different levels around. I have fart memories. I am not manatee with them though, I wish I was. I release and sink myself without thought, burying myself within these kelps, wanting to just drown myself there. Or I hold on, afraid I'll never see the surface again if I do, trying to ignore all these memories in me because it hurts to acknowledge they are there. I want to manatee better. Work with these farting memories and maybe get to these moments of vegetation ready to be eaten by me with delight. Hold on to fart memories long enough to have reason and capabilities not to sulk into what feels like abysmal. How natural these memories of farts, how sacred of an air to keep us afloat, to be let go enough to help us reach the places waiting for us to arrive. I know it sounds sordid, but you'll be rewarded when at last I'm given my dues. And injustice deliciously squared. Be prepared. My brother never understood the weight of his shadow. How Dad always had time for Mufasa. How easily he cleared his schedule when his dear son asked for anything me. Go ask your mother, Father would tell me. I begged and cried for him to take notice, yet our Father advised me that life isn't fair. And I watched him walk away from me as he tends to his pride, his joy of a son, Mufasa, my brother. never had to suffocate from his grips of being forgotten. Mufasa never had to experience jealousy because all belonged and were promised to him. I wanted the name Taka to be more than the brother of a king. I wanted Taka to be the king. I did not only want it to rule all the light touch, I also wanted to be the ruler of all that the night and shadows touch as well. Oh, how I wish that buffalo Boma did kill you, dear brother. How I wish it impaled you and rid the world of the great Mufasa. Instead, I found myself in the tracks of that idiotic beast named Boma, who nearly took away my life. I got hurt because you, Mufasa, couldn't do your kingly duties correctly. There is no joy. There is a joy in seeing one's own self bleed. How my face, drenched with my own blood, felt like a baptism, soaking in my own pain and humility, brought to attention my excuses and failures. Maybe Taka is not a name of a king, but a fool, an uncommitted simpleton, lacking true fire and ambition to be king. So I renamed myself to be more than second son. I renamed myself to be the sum of greatness and resilience. I birthed a name to remind myself that if I am here, I am more than pain and grief. I called and claimed myself Scar, because I refused to be my father's second thought. Scar, because I refused to be forever in the shadow of my brother. I refuse to be beneath my nephew in stature. Scar, a name to be feared, a name determined to write myself as king, even if the world refused to see him as one. Scar, my name is Scar. Make me sweat, make me harder, make me lose my breath, make me water, make me sweat, make me harder, make me lose my breath, make me water. Sexy does not always mean to evoke the sultry, but if the breeze calls for it, lure what gravitates to have a dialogue with your skin and cut what does not know how to hold a conversation of attraction. Sexy, not always a furnace of heat, but if the sun dances for your flame, ignite a radiance worth traveling the speed of light for, and should someone with cold intentions try to encapsulate your shine, beat amber of 1,000 undies, torch which does not know how to hold you. Sexy has no need to conjure interest of eyes, but should the pupils of pineapples affirm you're worthy of attraction, let your flesh sing the hymns that make all feathers of a flock of 1,000 peacocks sway to your heartbeat. And should a spectator seek you without knowing how to gaze, without hunger, siring them against rocky shores that would devour without hesitation, sexy through intelligence, imagining dimensions, opening electrifying spines with an articulation of liberation, sexy, gangster as fuck, gives thyself permission to exist without external validation, stands with an autonomy that does not fear one's own fears, nor sways away to the delicacy of tenderness, a walking bowl of song, a perpetual state of sharp and graciousness, sexy in breath, compressing and decompressing the flow of air, bellows the body into a meditative trance of here that all wish to approach and enter, lungs whirlwind a lifetime upon each inhale and exhale, Sexy because, sexy tangible, sexy the spell of loving the self always. Let the world stop turning, let the sun stop burning. Let them tell me love is not worth going through. It all falls apart. I know deep in my heart the only thing that mattered had come true. In this life I would love by you. In a women's lit class, there was an essay where a lady talks about hugging, how she grew accustomed to side hugs, how she felt she was an awkward person to hug because of her body. I felt less alone that day. I am perplexed the way young children know how to hug me properly. They do not forget I am big, yet they hug me in a way that makes me feel if I have correctly fit into the world. I did not grow up in a hugging family. We hug, not to the extent where it was a daily occurrence. As children, I am sure we hugged all the relatives during parties, told to kiss and hug this auntie, that auntie, this Lola, that Lola. I do not remember hugging uncles or lolos. Maybe we did, or maybe it was awkward for them to hug nephews or grandsons who were not immediate family. When my father would come home from the Coast Guard, I remember hugging him at airports, even kissed his cheek on returns. When he dropped me off to school, I would always kiss him goodbye, until one day I left him without a kiss. Grew where that ritual between son and father felt embarrassing. My mother hugged my brothers and I, hugged me after I was disciplined, brought me in closer to help me understand why I received the pain I did. I learned how the body can produce oxytocins. When you hold a person long enough, told friends I wanted to hug them longer, counted the seconds until our bodies released this trust we always had, solidified with this feeling of being held. I held my mother's hand until she can barely keep her eyes open. Watch her sleep away when all I want is to be held by her once more. I jokingly hugged my father, squeezed him, trying to make him feel uncomfortable until I felt him hug me, and the joke dissolved, became forgiveness and acceptance. Even if it did not feel permanent, it felt worth having. We held, did not have an agenda of breaking any cycles, but we broke enough to have this moment. I will go if you ask me. I will stay if you dare. And if I go, I'm going crazy. Let my darling take me there. Unlike humans, there is no need for royalty to preserve the body of the deceased. Unlike humans, one does not need to make promises or agreements with the living to assist with afterlife rituals. Unlike humans, there would be no pyramid erected, nor